Hello, darlings. You are welcome to my channel, Sister Africa. Okay, today I'm bringing to us the summary of this week's episodes on Jhanak. It's giving everything drama. Let's get to the video.
25th May 2025. Shubh takes the stand and shares his version of events. He claims Shrishti and Urvashi were cousins raised like sisters, both passionate about dance and trained under Guru Brij. He accuses Urvashi of crossing professional boundaries with Brij. Jhanak objects strongly, defending her mother's honor, and is supported by Debashish and Anirudh. Shubh continues, alleging that Shrishti returned to Srinagar, married Vinayak, and had Arshi. Later, she was shocked to find Urvashi living with Brij. He claims Jhanak's existence was hidden after rumors of her death, asserting that only Arshi is Shrishti's daughter. Meanwhile, outside the courtroom, Kajal confides in Anuradha about her fear of her ex-boyfriend, Tappan, and her complex feelings toward Lalo. Appu overhears and is hurt, missing Jhanak. Arshi arrives and shocks everyone by saying she doesn't want Jhanak gone and wants to clear her mother's name. Back in court, Debashish counters Shubh's claims. He highlights the difference between Shrishti and Urvashi, portraying Urvashi as a protective and loving mother. He shocks the court by revealing there are two Brijashans, twin brothers, and accuses Shrishti of using the imposter Brij, Kul, while silencing the real one. He claims Shrishti married Brij, then Vinayak, and had both Arshi and Jhanak, hiding the latter's identity. The courtroom is left on edge as Debashish promises to bring a witness to confirm everything. 26th May 2025. In court, Debashish reveals the backstory. Shrishti abandoned Brij, who waited for her, while Urvashi cared for Jhanak. Shrishti and Kulbhushan conspired against Brij, but Brij was saved and hidden by a friend. Urvashi trusted the wrong man pretending to be Brij, suffered insult, and eventually committed suicide, leaving a letter with the truth to Jhanak. Anirudh is called to testify. Shubh accuses Jhanak of trying to trap Anirudh and claims Arshi and Anirudh are happy together. Debashish introduces a letter from Urvashi revealing Jhanak's true father, Guruji, and affirming her birthright. The judge dismisses the letter as invalid evidence. The real Brij Bhushan testifies, revealing that he and Kulbhushan are twins and Kul impersonated him. Brij presents a passport copy proving Kul was abroad during critical times, but the judge remains unconvinced. Debashish calls on Brij to confirm Shrishti's maternity and presents nursing home records and Dr. Ranbir Solanki's testimony, verifying Shrishti gave birth to Jhanak and Brij's involvement in the admission. Shubh challenges but fails to discredit the evidence, and Debashish points out Kul's lack of responsibility for Jhanak as further proof. The court drama intensifies as concrete medical and identity evidence emerge to support Jhanak's claim. 27th May 2025. Anirudh offers to drop Jhanak and Brij home, but they refuse. Jhanak fears gossip, but Anirudh brushes it off, insisting on standing by her. Their tense exchange is interrupted by Arshi, who's upset that Anirudh ignores her and refuses to leave with her. At home, Shubh confronts Mimi about a complaint from a doctor, but Mimi defends herself, saying the doctor has a personal vendetta. Arshi lashes out at Jhanak publicly, accusing her of stealing Anirudh. Brij defends Jhanak, while Jhanak finally stands her ground, refusing to stay silent. Meanwhile, Kajal arrives at Lalo's house bruised. Appu reveals that her abusive boyfriend is back, and while Lalo is hesitant to get involved, Appu urges him to help. Back with Jhanak, she disowns Shrishti as her mother, saying Urvashi is her true mom. Tensions escalate as Arshi accuses Jhanak of destroying her life. Jhanak tells Arshi to blame Anirudh, not her. Arshi's bitterness peaks when she admits she was glad when she thought Jhanak was dead. Anirudh silences Arshi and firmly declares he'll take Jhanak home, doing what he believes is right. 28th May 2025. The episode centers on the fallout from Anirudh's public support of Jhanak, which shocks and enrages his family. Shubh, Lal, Bipasha, and Tanuja criticize Anirudh, while Arshi returns home devastated, accusing Anirudh of abandoning her for Jhanak. She claims Jhanak humiliated her and even contemplates suicide. The family is shaken, but Arshi's pain fuels further resentment toward Jhanak. Meanwhile, Kajal confides in Lalo about Anirudh's rejection and fears for her safety, but Lalo urges her to take responsibility for her actions. Elsewhere, tension builds between Mimi and Dr. Sen, with accusations and proof of misconduct escalating. Shubh tries to intervene but is left embarrassed by Mimi's behavior. Back home, Anirudh returns to more confrontation. When Arshi lashes out, he suggests ending the relationship and firmly defends Jhanak, saying he'll stand by her no matter what. He brings up the letter proving Jhanak is Brijbhushan's daughter, standing his ground despite opposition. The next morning, Anirudh visits Jhanak with important papers and once again pours out his love for her. Jhanak remains distant, urging him to return to Arshi and respect the law. Despite her resistance, Anirudh confesses he no longer wants to be with Arshi and wants happiness with Jhanak. But she urges him to focus on his own path and lets him go, hiding her own feelings. 29th May 2025. Anirudh confesses his love to Jhanak, but she is overwhelmed and asks him to leave, even wishing she were dead. Despite his insistence that his love saved her, she refuses to believe it. Meanwhile, Shrishti has a tense confrontation with Kul, where she admits to trying to kill Jhanak and shows no remorse for never seeing her as a daughter. Kul secretly records the conversation, gaining leverage. Elsewhere, Mimi manipulates Shubh and clashes with Dr. Sen, who is upset about her behavior. In contrast, Choto and Rilini share a light-hearted romantic moment in the midst of chaos. A misunderstanding in the market nearly causes trouble for Bablu, but Choto diffuses the situation. Back at the clinic, Dr. Sen rejects Shubh's money, valuing dignity over payoff, and Mimi continues her petty games. Shrishti maintains she only loves Arshi, even saying she'd kill Jhanak to protect her. Kul, disgusted by her coldness, reminds her that Jhanak is still her daughter. The episode ends on a painful note as Jhanak tells Anirudh she doesn't love him, though it's a lie, breaking both their hearts. Anirudh, devastated, vows to stop loving her too. 30th May 2025. The episode opens with family tensions as Dadi questions Tanuja about Anirudh's actions. Tanuja expresses frustration that Anirudh left Arshi and is now pursuing Jhanak. Dadi surprisingly defends him, while Bipasha and Lal criticize Jhanak and demand action. Anjana steps in to support Jhanak, leading to a fierce argument, with Bipasha mocking both Jhanak and her father Brij. Meanwhile, Choto and Rilini share a light moment. Back in the main room, Bipasha continues to belittle Jhanak, prompting Anjana to defend her and challenge the hypocrisy in the household. Accusations fly, especially toward Shrishti, but Anjana remains firm in her belief that Jhanak is honest and good-hearted. Dadi and Lal express concern about Anirudh's future, threatening to disown him if he doesn't distance himself from Jhanak. The next day at court, Shubh introduces a surprise witness, Kavita, who claims to be Brij's wife and then shockingly claims to be Jhanak's mother. Jhanak, stunned and emotional, rejects this, insisting Urvashi was her only real mother. Shubh's strategy begins to unravel when Kavita misidentifies Kul as Brij, and Debashish points out inconsistencies in her story. Shrishti watches from afar, unaware that Vinayak has set the stage for an even bigger reveal.